Welcome back to College Gridiron Showcase here at Burrell Network. Mark Lillibridge, Mike Brez bringing it to you here. We got our guys out on the field. Drills are going on now. It's an exciting day. Biggest day of these guys' life up to date right now. It's a make or break. Dozens of these guys are going to end up in the league, Bridge, and even more are going to end up getting paid to play football, the game they love. A lot of dreams happening right here, right on the field. Scouts, we've been talking to them all week, and they said they're here for this.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing about it. This is what it's led up to, right? I mean, so Tuesday, Wednesday interviews, doing the other testing, Wonderlic. This is where it's about. This is where the ball players then differentiate themselves from the other guys, the guys that are out here, being able to do the field work. I talked to a lot of scouts that are out here, over 120 scouts here this week. Talked to a lot of them, Mike, today. They're looking forward to seeing a lot of these guys. We talked to Lonzo Highsmith yesterday, Seattle Seahawks. He's talking about playground scouting, finding some of these guys that move around. I've talked to 3 or 4 scouts that said that it's so critical for so many of these guys that showed up, because it's their first look and their first chance to see these guys on the hoof. A lot of guys representing themselves today. Our D-line's already been going. Linebackers, we have defensive backs drills taking place right now. It's got, for me as a scout, I've been living and loving right now, man. I'm commentating on some of these guys. I'm like, great feet, stay lower, bend. You got to be able to show some flexion, hip flexion, knee flexion. It's been really fun for me, and it's been really awesome for these guys to be able to get their drills or videotaped. And now these teams can go back, dissect, and say, this is a guy maybe we weren't so high on. Now we are. Now we got to go do some more homework. Now we got to go watch the film, go see what he did. Maybe they didn't play in 2020, right? Now we got to go back to 2019. He checks all the boxes size-wise, movement-wise, arm length, everything else. He represented out here, was in shape. Guys were moving around. Guys have shown that they're in shape, that they've been training, that it means something to them. It's a big day for a lot of guys. I'm excited for them, and I'm excited for the Burrell Network to be here.
Absolutely. We're going to cut to the field right now, get into the drills. And I'll tell you one thing about the drills. These guys have looked better than we anticipated out there. They're looking fluid. They look coached.
Right over our shoulder right here, some of these DB drills. If you can see this, you're tuning in right now, you can see some of these DB drills right here. I mean, just the movement skills. So on this drill right here, what they're trying to do is they want to be able to flip their hips down the line. And the key for this is when you're on the back pedal of your drill, when you're back pedaling, you want to flip and stay down that same line. You want to be able to keep your head back, turn around, track the ball, find it, catch it. You got to be able to catch that football right there. This view right here, see right there, you see how he's got to be able to stay low?
Now, break it down for us, Bridge. See what you see out of these drills.
Okay, so right there, okay, as you're seeing this guy, when the other angle is great, when you want him to turn, he's got to be able to flip his hips and stay down that same line. If you were literally lined up directly behind him, when a guy flips, you can see if his hips are stiff, he's going to move off the line. He won't be able to stay on that line. So you're going to be able to right there flip, track the ball, find it, catch the ball. So you can see it right here. There you go. From right there, where it flips his hips, tracks the ball, catches it, gets up high and catches it. So back pedal, turns, stays down on the same plane, turns again. Those are loose hips right there. That was a great rep, and that's what he said. See right here, you don't want to pop up. If a guy turns, he stays low. See how his head stays on the same plane the entire time? That's a great drill. Now, bad ball, but that's a great rep right there. Number 24, Isaiah Hayes. Look good. I like seeing him pumping his arms a little bit here on that.
Helps him keep low, right?
Yep, you got to catch that football, man. That's the thing, man. Turnovers are huge in the NFL.
A little stiff here on 38. You know, he's a big guy, though. You know, it's tougher.
But that's what the NFL teams. That's how you got to be able to differentiate. If you're going to be big, you got to be able to change that diatribe of what teams are talking about. They want to see if you come out here, you're big, but you're stiff. Well, that doesn't help you right now. Now you got to talk about position change, right? That's a rover linebacker or something like that. So that's something he's going to work on in this offseason. And it's early still, man. We're still in early January. It's a pro day, March. Hopefully he can change that.
Yeah, there are a lot of these guys going to end up looking like somewhere between a linebacker and a safety. But these strong safeties now in this age, they flip the hips. They're working, over the top. They can do these things. That stiff coming down the hill is not the same anymore.
This is one of our guys right here, Justin Pinnock, right here from Pitt. I just look at his size, look at his arms. He's been great in all the drill work we've done today. And I expect him to do big time stuff and look very smooth in this drill right here.
cuter.
It's on us right now, so we're gonna.
Let's get back here. Here they're setting up the drill. Sammy's out there working the camera. We're getting all set up. Now, it's a big moment. We talked to Pinnock last night. A lot of swagger in this guy, and he's going in the draft. He believes he's going high, and I think we believe with him. He's got a couple of buddies here at from Pitt that they're going to go right along with him.
Great defense, and I mean, this is you're talking about Big East football, and they had got a lot of games in this year, and he's able to. As you see him right here on this drill, what they're gonna do right here is they're gonna break him down. What they want to do is have him open, and they're gonna same drill going back the opposite way, but now instead at the end, instead of driving back down the line, you're opening for the deep ball, right? Can you track that ball? Wow. Can you go if you're the deep safety, even a corner, right? Can you go flip your hips open and then break to that edge, track the ball, find it, and make a smooth catch? Some of these guys are gonna have a speed turn. When I say a speed turn, what they're gonna end up doing is they're gonna flip their hips over the top, the opposite direction of which way they're going. So their back pedal flips here. Now watch the speed turn. There's a speed turn flip in the opposite direction of where he was turning to. Great job right there. Good. That was Jerry Jacobs. That's our Arkansas guy. That guy's got a lot of swagger. You talk about a dude with a lot of swagger. That's the guy that's got a lot of swagger. Come here. Cameron Kenley. We like this guy, man. You're talking about a captain at Navy, but as well as a captain at Navy. And you talk about a guy that was the president of the class right here. Long. He's got a safety body. He's rocked up, long arms. He's been really successful, really smooth in a lot of the drills that he's had here today. They moved the drill over a little bit. They were getting a little bit deep into the end zone. Don't want to hurt anybody on the sideline here. So, yeah, this is a good Cameron Kenley. This is a guy that we'll be voting for president here in a couple of years. But before
we like him. He's a great guy.
Watch how low he stays. There he flips his hips. Now he doesn't have to speed turn. Now he just opens, goes, track that football, catch it.
Yeah. Maybe we can.
Little back pedal here. Open. Now watch the speed turn. Flipped it right there. Wide open. Go catch the football. There it is. Catch that football. Nice catch. Oh, you got to be able to catch that. We got to get that catch. Track that football and catch it. Speed turn. Nice. Track it. That's Jerry Jacobs right there. I'll be able to see that catch. Turn. Flip it. Speed turn here. Over the top. 9.
That's what you're going. Tell me, get that switcher going. Get the shots.
Back pedal. Flip the hips.
Gotta get better. Switcher.
Yep. Hey, Sammy, get closer. Walk in. Back pedal. Flip. Turn. Drop his hips. Drop his weight.
Come on.
Track the football. Good.
Could be too early.
Back pedal here. Now he's going to have a speed turn over the top. Watch this. He's going to roll his head, snap that head back. He's got to look quicker. Track it. High point it.
Good.
Catch the football. That was nice. It's a tough ball. Now, this is one of those things, man, because it's a rapid fire, too, for these guys. They got to be able to stay in shape. This is a long way to go. They're flipping those hips. Rolling it. Over the top. Catch it. There it is.
That's a good one.
And that's the thing. You can tell some guys, they get tired. Here's our boy, Brady Breeze.
Yep. We'll see how he goes. Yep. Yeah, we got that one out of shot. Our audio tech's waving his hand. That's okay. We're going to get him on the next shot, right?
So as you're backpedaling here, there's Iowa State right here, flipping his hips. Roll, turn and catch.
Okay. Work him.
This is Eric Burrell right here, Wisconsin.
Yeah, this is a big guy. We didn't talk to him yesterday. Nope. We're looking for him today.
Yep.
Keep it going.
Yep. Number 22. Looks good here in these drills, man. Jordan Peters, Auburn, man. That's a big time play. A lot of the SEC. Good catch. Good way to track the football. Did a nice job for himself. Nice back pedal here, open. At 23. That's how you do the drill. This is Hembry. We talked to him yesterday from Southern Miss. Way to catch the ball on the sideline. Good movement skills. Stay low here in the drill. Speed turn. Go sprint, track it, find it late. Up. You got to catch that ball, man. That's main part about getting that head around. Trey Meadows, the Western Kentucky University, 6'1", 180-pound corner. Okay. I know our video stuff was, we had a little bit of issues, technical issues just with our camera placement in this drill as we try to get moved around. But what they're trying to do with this drill, again, folks, if you're tuning in, listening, or listening live, you want to be able to get off your spot, stay low in a back pedal, be able to stay on that, keep your head on the same plane so you never want to pop up or down, be able to flip your hips laterally, sprint down the same line on that same plane. So you have a horizontal plane and a vertical plane that you want to be able to keep your body on. Keep those hips, open those hips, turn, run, track the ball, whichever, if you're speed turn or just plant and run, track the ball, catch the ball at its highest point. That's a huge deal. Now we're going to go the opposite direction. You're going to see Pinnock speed turn right here. Now he's got to sprint and run, go track that ball. Great catch. That's a great play. You can hear people clapping up here, teammates clapping, competitors clapping. That was a good drill right there from one of the top guys at University of Pitt.
You're seeing that at Farrington Field right now, but we're going to end up seeing this on Sundays, Bridge. Pinnock's going to end up in this game, and maybe 2 years, 3 years from now, he can end up being an impact starter in this league. Maybe a great number 2 out there. He probably won't want to hear that. He probably wants to be in the number 1.
Well, you know what, though? That's, you work to it, right? Here's Jerry Jacobs, got a lot of swagger, University of Arkansas. He's good at, has had an excellent day in all of his drill work. I actually saw him high point a ball earlier. Phenomenal work. Here's our future president right here. Henby going to come on right here. Catch the ball, high point. Nice job. Well done. Caught it at the end there or not, but
doesn't matter that much, right?
No.
There you get pass breakups is a good stat too, right?
In these kind of drills, because you're on air, you'd like to still be able to see them finish a drill.
That's good. That good fluid hips turn. Yep. Oh, that was a beautiful term.
Bronte Harris, UAB, man. He's a smaller sized guy. He should be really good at this. He's natural flow.
Little on the ball track inside there. Needs to step off, but that looks good. Good turn. There he goes.
Yeah, that's Antonio Phillips. That's the guy we like right there. St. Louis guy, Ball State guy right here. Yep. So here he is, stepping up right here. Flips his hips, flips them nice.
Yeah, that was good. He got wide.
Yep, turn. Now he's got to track this catch. This is what he does well. Yep, that's smooth right there. Staying in bounds. That's points right there.
Going to you.
Number 10. This is Nate Hobbs. Here's our Illinois guy. We really like Nate. Nate talks smack, so he's going to run a 4.4. Look at that high point. Keeps his feet in bounds. That's an interception in the NFL. That's a nice play. It's well done by him. You got number 11 here rolling.
My audio's off. It was off. Okay. One of the things I've noticed a lot on this drill that the D-backs are doing is that even if they're not catching the ball, the coaches and the other players are really impressed at some of them tracking it. So even if the hands don't complete the play, even just the ability to track that ball deep is what coaches and scouts are looking for on this drill. Let's watch Wade, see what he can do.
Look here, Bridge, we're bringing it back, and you're seeing these guys. Some of the undersized guys have an easier time of getting down and getting around. But on that high side, getting that high point ball, we look at that here. We go 19.
Breeze right here, Oregon.
Yep.
That's the guy right here. Look at those hands.
Yep.
I mean, that's a guy that's
making sure he finishes.
Rose Bowl MVP right there.
We liked him. Charming guy, man.
Yeah, he is, man.
He had to make a tough decision last year on whether to go in for a few games. The Pac-12 didn't give these guys any help.
No, they did not. It's a horribly run conference, and I got no problem putting that on record saying it. So here's Eric Burrell right here, Wisconsin. He's a big guy right here, man.
Lot of hype going into Burrell, and a lot of draft stock talk about him coming out of here.
Well, Wisconsin, man. This is Jordan Peters, played big-time football at Auburn, right? I mean, you're playing in the SEC. You're competing down there at 6'1", 186 pounds, almost 33-inch arms. He's gonna get some sniffs, man.
He is.
Those are the kind of guys you want to at least come in and compete in camp.
Slide undersized. That's the only reason he's out here having to compete here instead of.
Well, and for a lot of these guys, Brez, you're talking about some guys, late round guys, like free agents, but you want to bring in size and you want to bring in guys that can compete in camp, right? Because if a worst case scenario, you got your number 1, number 2 receiver, you want to give them a challenge every practice. You don't want them going against some slubs that are going to get them hurt, right? You want some athletes, some long athletes that they can compete with.
Well, there you go. That's a good rep right there.
This is your guy with you were give him crap about the
Yeah,
from
he
Cincinnati,
plays
Derek
ball,
Forrest.
but I was
Derek
giving him.
Forrest, yeah, man, he looked good right there, right? Flipping his hips. Number 26 right here. That's smooth right there. Trey Meadows, Western Kentucky University, small school guy. You know, moving, tracking the ball
Down
well.
at Bowling Green. Like
Yep.
I was talking about Kentucky being a hot spot for football.
Yeah, right, man. You're on at 38. This is Javon Graham, Merrimack, small school guy. Was able to show up. Didn't have to work Tuesday. Came out here today. He's competing with the big boys, man. You know what? You're sitting there. You're at Merrimack College up there in Upper New York, and all of a sudden now you're out here competing with guys from Auburn and Iowa State and Kansas State and Arkansas. That's a pretty good. That's why football's a great equalizer, right, man? No matter where you come from, man. If you can play, they'll find you, and you can play on the weekends. And you know, Malcolm Butler is a perfect example. North Alabama guy, Super Bowl hero, and making big money. Nobody gave him a shot, and he's lived the glory. He's got a Super Bowl ring. So it's guys like that can it's exciting for them.
It's nice what these players can do, come into College Gridiron Showcase or make it in the league, because they put their college on maps too. You think about what he does for the college. He goes in the pros. Now they get more attention, and these guys really flip it over, and it starts to become something else. I mean, we've seen that. Look at Abilene down in Texas. You know, it was off the map, and then it started popping up, and guys started coming into the league from there, and it just became a powerhouse. I mean, this is what this event is about. You're mixing SEC guys, you got some Pac-12 in there, you got Big Ten guys, and then you have these smaller conferences nobody's ever heard of before. But you're right, equalizer on the field. Hey, what's your height, weight? How can you flip the hips? Can you hit? Can you do it? And they're showing it out here today.
Hey, we saw some big dudes this weekend from North Alabama. We've seen them from Central Missouri. We've seen them from Merrimack. Now we're talking about Benedictine. You know, we're talking about some schools that maybe a lot of people didn't even know had football teams. Wisconsin Whitewater. We got guys from Canada here in Calgary. We got guys from Florida Atlantic. I mean, so that's the great thing about it. It's now we're not even talking to the United States. We're talking to international. An event where kids are coming down here from Calgary. We had Charlie Moore on, the linebacker from the University of Calgary, on, and he was just talking about how this was a dream come true. Like he was nervous because he's seen these guys that he watches on Saturday that are playing games, and then he's going to be competing against them, out here. And so it's just what an event this is, and it's a great showcase and great opportunity for some of these guys. That could, like I said, we were talking to scouts. They want to see a guy flip his hips. They want to see a guy that can get down the line. And so when you're out here, it doesn't, on the back of their jersey right now, it doesn't tell you what college he's from, Mike. It doesn't sit there and say, oh, yeah, he's from a big school, he's from a small school, he's from SEC, Big 10, 12. He's just an athlete. He's just trying to make his way. And when it's on Sunday, it doesn't say what college you're at on the back of your jersey. It's your name, and you're representing the Detroit Lions. You're representing the Cleveland Browns. You're representing the Los Angeles Chargers. It doesn't matter how you got there. You're there, and you get to live your dream, and that's what this showcase is all about. So this is a great drill. So you want to be able to backpedal when they plant you. You don't want to take a false step right there. Watch this coming out of the break, out of the backpedal. You got to be able to stick that back foot in the ground, and you got to be able to get down the line and catch the football. You got to be able to catch Nate Hobbs right there, Illinois. I've been hyping him up all the time. He's got to catch the football though.
Yeah, he's got to get in. He's got the confidence. He'll get there.
I mean, we joke around a lot about it. That's why you're a DB, right? Because you're a receiver who can't catch. So you just get breakups. But so on this drill, stay low in the back. Well, you got a little high out of his back pedal. Stick your foot in the ground. Drive with force. Finish the ball. You can hear the coach screaming out right there. Finish. It's important about all these drills.
Bridge, I'm going to join in with something you were just saying. And I don't know if this is who you were saying about, but Javon Graham out of Merrimack College.
Yep.
He's a bigger, thicker guy. The way he's flipping his hips out there and tracking the ball, because of his size, the fact that he's able to move like that, you're going to knock him because he's from Merrimack College, but once you're in the league, they don't care. So I think this is a guy who's, helping himself today. For sure.
I think Shadi, a perfect point right there. What you said is the scouts don't care, right? They get paid to get guys into camp and guys to make their team. And so you find them anywhere. And sometimes we've been through this yesterday. We have guys that didn't play because of COVID. We have guys that didn't play because they were injured. They have guys that transferred, transfer portal. They're all over the place. We lose track of them. Hey, this is a chance to showcase. I don't know the Merrimack story, how he ended up at Merrimack. Maybe he's a late bloomer. But if he goes out here and showcases, and all he needs is one of these teams to recognize him and say, hey, that's our guy, boom, and that's a win.
Look, these scouts, they pride themselves on picking these talents out of these depths.
Oh, yeah,
they love that. That's a gold cap, right?
Nothing better, man.
So
there's nothing worse here. There's two things, right? There's nothing better than you're a draft scout, and it's hard. The internet's changed it, right? Because everybody's now a draft scout. So everybody's bringing up. So you got the NFL Draft Diamonds. They've got all these small school guys. So it's kind of hard to find a quote unquote sleeper. But what you don't want, the worst thing that can happen to you is a guy get drafted or a guy get signed that you didn't write a report on. If you're a scout, okay, right?
the worst.
So you're at Northeast, you're scouting the Northeast, and then all of a sudden the kid from Merrimack gets drafted, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, where's your report? Oh,
You're rooting against him for the rest of your career.
Yeah, you might not have a job after the draft. So
no doubt.
That's one of the worst feelings in the world. But when you hit on a guy like that, there's guys that hang their hats. And I mean, we talked to Alonzo Highsmith, right? Alonzo gets one of the biggest things he gets credit for was Donald Driver. Okay, he fought for Donald Driver out of Alcorn State when not a lot of people really thought Donald could do it. And so we were able to get him going and be able to get him rolling, and it was really exciting.
We got a lot of fanfare here. Everybody wants to come in, get on camera.
Nice scouts, man. They all want to meet you guys, right?
Some scouts.
All the scouts, they saw what Mayak's done. They saw what Lewis Riddick has done.
Here, yeah.
They all want to get on here. I'm not mad at them.
They're saying Bridge can't have all the spotlight.
Yeah,
Bridge can't have all the spotlight.
My forehead has a lot of the spotlight, I think, unfortunately. But,
Bridge, let me ask you about something that I was talking about earlier. You know, some of these guys, they shake their head a little bit, they pound their hands, and they're not catching the ball, but they're still tracking the ball well. So as a scout, do you penalize them for not completing the play, or do you say, oh, hey, he flipped some stuff, he got some stuff going, even though he didn't catch that ball, we're still going to give him partial credit for some of this stuff?
For me, it's one of those situations where, where for a guy to be able to, you got to catch it, right? That's ultimately, at the end of the day, you want to finish a drill. You'll hear a lot of these coaches in this out here today screaming, finish, finish, finish. You want to be able to have them catch the ball, be able to finish, and be able to do the drill that they have to finish.
Yeah, these guys, we talked to a lot of them yesterday. They told us what they were going to be doing, and you know what? A lot of them out here are showing that. And some of the things that were on our reports, and we're seeing that they're still a little tight there. They got some work. They're all out working out. So they're out at their different places. They're at XO. They're at some speed camps. We got balls coming, flying.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Look at, you know what though? How cool is this, right? We got a drill. Literally, if you're watching this live, you can literally watch what these guys are doing right behind us. I want to see if I get dropped, if I get hit in the head, Shotty, somebody's got to give me a shout out.
Right. You got Jose Jefferson behind you. He's protecting you. We're here for him, but he's here for us.
All right.
We can get them some better camp arms next season. We're going to get them some better camp arms.
Great camera angle right there. I love that, Sam. Keep that angle up, man. Keep those. High point. So you can hear, on this drill right here, you can hear the coach screaming out, right? When he's saying high point, what that is it's a jump ball situation. If all of a sudden you're sitting there and you got a receiver's going to get that, right? DK Metcalf. I always bring up DK Metcalf, but you bring up Nuke Hopkins, Julio Jones, some of these bigger receivers.
Nuke Hopkins, that's what we'll call him from now on. Not Nuke.
Yeah, that's his nickname, right?
Yeah.
They
call him Nuke.
No, they call him Nuke, dude. He's Nuke. It's Nuke to me. I don't care. But you're going up and get that. You got to compete against that. That's where this height. That's where these guys that are 5'11", 6 foot. That's why that's the swagger, and that's what the scouts are looking for out of those guys right now.
Let's see who we got out there. We had a lot of these guys come in talking big game.
Yeah, right there. So that's Nate Hobbs, of course, Illinois guy that I've talked about quite a bit.
Yep.
Right here, number 11. This is Isaiah Dunn, Oregon State. We haven't talked about him a lot, but again, a 6 foot player. You can see the ups right there. Good jumping ability, 190. Number 12, rolling right in here. So that's Devon Key from Western Kentucky University. So he's showing out a little bit on this drill right here. And 13, as we step up here, as they get, so they're dropping the ball, then they drop their weight. D'Angelo Amos, again, another guy we haven't really talked about. Big safety, though, 6 foot safety. See him gain a little bit of weight, but long arms. Number 18 hopping in here.
Be interested when he runs that 40.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, it will be.
Finish that. Finish.
Who we got next? Number 19 coming
Brady
in here.
Breeze.
Is that
our boy, Brady Breeze?
The other part about this, he's got to stay in bounds too. You got to make sure you're not the first one to touch the ball.
He has caught everything.
This is blowing sweat right here.
Looking fluid. He looks like the guy's supposed to be.
All right, he's going to catch this. Iowa State right there representing. So Iowa State's going to catch the football.
You didn't have hands like that when you were a Cyclone.
I did actually. Eric Burrell. Here's our safety from Wisconsin. We talked about a little bit. A lot of hype, a lot of pre-hype coming in here. So it's been.
If you get a couple of good balls there, he's been outplaced a little bit.
Yep. Jordan Peters again. We've talked about it. Look at that. See those skills, man. That's Auburn right there. That's the SEC representing himself right here. Number 23. I'd like to see. I didn't want to see him roll out of that. He's got to plant and get out of there right there.
Yeah.
The other part about what coaches want to see: catch the ball, turn and run back down, right? Instead of just like jogging. Finish. See, try to keep your balance in bounds and then finish, right? Anybody can just catch it, but you get impact plays are when you catch it, keep it bouncing, and return it. That's hey man, look at the Buffalo Bills, the pick 6, 101 yards, man. That was a game changer, right?
It makes a difference in that game. And feet. We talk about feet coming up, coming back. It's not just feet when they're on the ground. When you leave and you come back down, you got to have the feet. Not everybody's got to be Jerry Rice in the secondary, but doesn't it make a difference?
Here's Merrimack. Look at that. It looks like a safety, like a linebacker, right? Doesn't he?
Stick
under competing.
Looks like you can play both ways real quick.
Put him in a fullback, right? That's but it's a big opportunity for him. He could have been here on Tuesday doing the stuff with the small school guys. The fact that he's out here to be able to compete, Javon Graham, that's 200. He's 6 foot, 220 pounds. He's one of those guys, but he's got 10-inch hands, and that might be a guy that one of those teams that like that hybrid kind of safety corner linebacker type guy that can put him in and find a spot for him and get him into camp. It's gonna be tough getting drafted out of Merrimack, but if you can find a guy like that and put him in as a camp guy. At least he's going to go out and compete, because that's.
Well, we've seen that. Desmond King fell in the draft out of Iowa because he was thicker, shorter. They were afraid he was going to run. He ran in the 4.5s, which should have checked the box. They went you in the 4.4 range, and then he ended up being a great player for the down in the Chargers. He got traded over to the Titans. He's moving around, so it tells you there's a place for him, but it depends on your scheme, right. and that's what you're saying. Some teams, and so it limits the teams you can go to.
No, I'm not gonna, and I don't want to bust bubbles here, and I'm not trying to be rude or whatever else. We've got 130 some players here. Let's just say, man, maybe 10 to 12 of these guys get drafted, right? But if out of the rest of that group, if 100 of them get signed, they got to get signed from somewhere, right? And they're here, so that number one, that shows they want to compete and they're willing to go do what they have to do. These scouts, as I was talking to scouts before we started this event out here today, a lot of them said they don't know. They don't know these players. They've never seen these guys. They don't know who they're looking at. So now they're out here looking. So all of a sudden, again, it goes back to it all the time. You're on a draft board, and you've got a guy that was at Nevada. You got a guy that's at Idaho. You got a guy that's at, whatever, West Virginia. You haven't seen him. Maybe they didn't have a pro day. Maybe they didn't do it. But he was out here competing. If it comes down to push comes to shove, you're going to take that guy, and you're going to take the guy you've seen, have hands on, and you've seen. So that's a big deal, and so it's a good opportunity for some of these guys. So you might not get drafted out of Merrimack, but if you can just get into camp, that's all you need, man. Then just get that one opportunity.
And let me ask you, as a former Chief Scout, does it change what you're looking for when you come to an event like this? Are you looking for maybe like a special teams hustle, or a little bit of a thicker guy who maybe isn't going to start on the outside at corner but can play that big nickel? Does it change what you're looking for?
It does. I mean, there's certain guys, right? Corner especially, that's a different. There's certain positions or certain organizations, a 5'8", 5'9" corner doesn't scare them. If the kid can tackle and if he's good at cover two, you're okay. You can take a Rondé Barber. If you're playing in a cover two, you'll take a guy like Rondé Barber who got quick feet and is willing tackler, as opposed to, if you're playing for some of these teams that you want bigger corners, 6'1", 6'2" corners, the Raiders, Nnamdi Asomugha was a guy that was just the epitome of what a corner was, because he was just so big and was so fluid. Played corner like a safety. Right?
Here's Nate coming up. Now, run us through this drill there, Bridge, whenever they're going back. I know they want to see the change of the feet, that they can follow their receiver, get in and out of breaks. And it's all about feet here in this drill. And, not just the side to side, but the give and go.
Well, some of it, too, is also just to wear them out, right? I mean, they want to see if them compete, right? If you get tired, you get high. If you get tired, are you lazy with your feet? Or you lose your balance? We're going to see 2 or 3 guys out here lose their balance because they're not ready. They weren't prepared for this. And you know what? That means something they got to work on. And so that's right there. Great feet, stay in shape, track the ball, don't get lazy with it, catch it. Now watch, plant, turn, and run back down the field. Don't be happy with just the pick. Get it and sprint back. We just saw that. Got a little high right there. See all those? See how look just a little tired, and that's okay. Keep those feet in bound. Work your feet, keep your feet in bounds, and let's go. Lamont right here. Lamont Wade, Penn State. Okay, look at this. He should be good at this drill, man. He's got great feet, smooth, right? Now finish. Turn, track the ball, keep your feet in bounds.
Good. He finishes Brady Breeze, Oregon. He's got the Oregon shoes. He's got the gloves on. He's always sporting Oregon.
Did he say Papa Knight, right? Gave him all the good stuff.
He's getting a little tied up there in his feet, and that's a knock on him coming into this thing, and he's got to work on that. And that's something you can improve, You can't get taller, you can't get 50 pounds heavier, but you can work on those feet.
That's a great camera angle right there. Now you see this. here's the other thing about this. You want to stay on the same plane. You want to stay on the same line. See how he's gaining ground. You don't want to do that. You want to try to, as much as you possibly can, you wanted to stay on that same line, right? You don't want to drop back at all until you have to get called to turn. So let's see as we continue to do this drill right here. See right there. Look at this. Same line, down the 44. That was a great job, or 36, excuse me. Stayed down to 36 the entire time. That's a great drill. Great feet. You don't want to lose it. See, staying down the same plane, turn, flip those hips, run. Now catch this ball. High point this ball and catch it. But have some awareness right there at the end. I would like to see him have some awareness and stay in bounds.
Isaiah Hayes here.
So, yep, Isaiah Hayes like that.
Louisville. Yep. That's our guy.
Here we go.
Right. Speaking of Louisville, guys, we're actually going to go over to Emily Van Buskirk, who's got Elijah Ponder from Louisville for a quick interview.
And we busted him up a little bit. Let's bring him over to him.
Emily, you're good.
All right, Emily Van Buskirk here with the Burrell Network. I'm standing with defensive tackle from the University of Cincinnati, Elijah Ponder. Just stepped off the field from his drills. How do you feel about it?
I feel great. Yeah, I feel great. I love the drills that we did. To come out here and showcase our talents in front of all these scouts and coaches. So, I definitely appreciate the opportunity to come out here, and I loved it and enjoyed it.
Which drill of all of them was your favorite? You think showcased your ability the best?
The bad drills, because it shows the mobility that you have, and if you're able to dip and rip and just be able to bend the corner, bend the corner tight, and that shows a lot.
We were just talking about flexibility because that's a huge part of what these guys do. I myself, not very flexible, need to get in the yoga. He was telling me, what's your key to flexibility?
The key to flexibility is to work on it 3 times a day. You got to be consistent. It's just something that you got to work on. You got to figure out what part of your body is, might not necessarily be, as flexible. So it's just something you got to work on 3 times a day and be faithful to it.
You got a favorite yoga pose, some downward dog or some child pose?
I just started the actual yoga. That's a different story right there.
That's that beginner yoga. So we'll get there. How do you feel about this event, being able to come out here, showcase in front of all these college scouts or NFL scouts during a season that, was kind of different due to COVID?
I'm very appreciative. I'm thankful for the opportunity. It was a blessing, especially with the combine being canceled this year. So it was definitely a great opportunity, and I'm happy that I made it here.
How was the interview process yesterday? You got to talk to a lot of scouts and all that. You're in a room with all these guys. What was it like getting to have that one-on-one time with them?
It was great. It was definitely something I was prepared for, and I'm glad that I had the opportunity to do it, and I feel like I talked well. Yeah,
you good interview? You had some good things to say?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, University of Cincinnati, great season. Just missed out on that college football playoff. A little hurt about that. What do you got to say to the committee there?
Yeah, we definitely was hurt. We feel like we deserved a shot at the playoffs, but sometimes you just got to be able to adapt and move on with life. So,
yeah. Should we watch out for the Bearcats next year?
For sure. Yeah.
All right. Well, good luck in the process and the rest of it, and we'll see you. Back to you guys.
Thank you.
There's our guy. Louisville, Cincinnati, right down the street from each other. A lot of hub getting in there. I know he wasn't a big fan of you saying he's going to be an offensive linebacker, but,
Defensive linebacker, mean? What's that? Yeah, Walter White. I get my glasses on. I do. I appreciate it. A lot of of course, a big fan of the Burrell Network. Chiming in here, giving me busting on my balls a little bit, which is great. But so Marlon, I'm a ponder. I mean, it's one of those guys where just the 31-inch arms that's going to be an issue.
Yeah, he looks the part, but he played the part.
He's got different level, right? And so but that's just another reason. Now check the boxes, right? Okay, so I'm going to watch the film. I'm going to see what he is. Great interview. He's got a good personality, but I want to be able to now play for head coach with a defensive lineman in the NFL. He's got production. They believed in him, right? Played big time football on a team that when Emily just talked about it, they had just right outside the getting into the playoffs. So it's a guy that I think he's got production, but now where does he fit? For what team does he fit at?
Exactly. Well, we're gonna throw it over to Emily for Cameron Kenley. We've been big on him. He's great on the off field. He'd be great in the locker room. We're seeing what he can do on the field here. He had a good day. Let's kick it over to
God bless America right here.
Yeah, no, this is our guy.
All right, Emily Van Buskirk back here, Burrell Network. We got another guy, Cameron Kenley from Navy. DB just stepped off the field. How'd those DB drills go?
Hey, it was some good work. It felt good to get back out there. It's been a while since December since we played Army, so it felt good to compete around some high caliber guys.
I like that you bring up the Army game because that's something everybody in America loves that game. What is it like to be part of that tradition?
I mean, it's nothing like it. It's easily the best game in college football. I look forward to it every year. The atmosphere is sold out. You got the president at the game. I don't think it gets any better than that. So I love competing against those guys every year.
It is definitely fun to watch. It's a bucket list item for most college
For sure.
football fans. What was your favorite drill out here today? What do you think showcased your ability the best?
I think I like the W drill a lot, but I also like the 180 flips, opening up, gaining ground. I'm a lone guy, 6'1", so being able to cover all that ground and go track the ball, that's probably my favorite drill today.
How are the DB coaches CGS provide you with? They seem really fun. You guys look like you have a good time.
Nah, yeah, they're definitely good, smart guys, giving us good props, good technique, just trying to get us our best shot, in front of these scouts, so I definitely appreciate them a lot.
And this week has been, a lot of different things. You have interviews, you've got testing, all these different stuff. What is the College Gridiron Showcase meant to you as a player trying to get seen and get into this draft?
I'm definitely grateful for it. I'm very blessed to be here, being able to be in front of 100 scouts, no matter how many you talk to, now they have your data, they got your weight, your height, all those different measurements. A lot of guys don't get that opportunity, so it's definitely a blessing, and I thank College Gridiron Showcase for allowing me to be here.
Now, Mike Shoddy loves to talk about you being his president, the class president.
Right.
What does that bring to your leadership as a player? What do you think that would bring to an NFL locker room?
Right. I mean, I'm a born leader, a natural leader. That's the way my parents raised me to be. Team captain, class president. I'm all about serving others, helping others become the best version of themselves. So I feel like any NFL team could use me in their locker room to help create that culture, that family culture, and help guys grow together and truly be a family. So.
Well, that's Mike Shoddy's president, Cameron Kenley. Thank you. We'll keep watching you. Back to you guys at the desk.
Take care. Thanks.
You get how these are the guys you end up rooting for. Alonzo, who's just bombing us behind you, hitting you with the Walter White, bringing us back to who was it, Hemmers yesterday?
Yeah.
That way he went to the Walter White High School, where they filmed the whole Breaking Bad. He's got people that are in the show, but he told us, hey, try not to fall in love with the story before you see the film, and that's the playground scouting, right?
Yep.
Where you go and say, hey, that's the kid right there. He's going to be able to pull it off. That kid needs to be working on the computer. That's the mix-up. And so, but it's hard not to know who Cameron Kenley is when he walks up. You instantly already know there's something behind the guy, and then you learn he's the president of his class at Navy. He's straight A guy. He's the one that gets to the officers for his class. He's just a top-notch caliber. Now, PFF didn't have the greatest grades on him, and PFF is not the Bible, but it's a good track point. And so there are some things he needs to step up. And I think as much as he thinks, he overthinks a little bit on the field. That's just what he needs to work on. He can.
Well, but that's the thing about it, though, right? Nobody is a polished, even Trevor Lawrence, as we start this thing, right? Justin Fields, all these big-time quarterbacks that have been hyped up since high school, they're still not polished. There's still things that they got to get better at. And so he's at Navy for a reason. He's just a good human being, good person. He's got the size. He's got the intangibles. He's got the things that you want. You'd rather miss on a guy like that, Brez, than you would on just some guy that is, you don't know about, right? And so it's a worst case scenario. You say, I had a Navy, a naval officer in our building, and give him that opportunity, as opposed to some guy that is at a smaller school that maybe it doesn't mean as much to him. And so I like those stories. But the other part about it, he's not 5'8", 160 pounds, and they're doing him a favor because he's at Navy, right? They're not just looking at him and saying, all right, just because he's at Navy, we'll just throw him a bone here. The guy's got a legit shot to play on Sundays. So no matter what, any scouting service says or whatever else, all you need is one team, and that team might not believe in those analytics, might not believe in all that, and that's okay. That team, and he might end up being a Pro Bowl player. He might not. He might just get a cup of coffee. Yeah. But he's here. He's competing. He fits the mold of a NFL corner. Looks the part. I'd take a shot at him. I got no problem with it. And when you say that, right, the playground scouting, what Alonzo talked about, which I love that I'm going to use that all the time. Even though I know his story, he backed it up with the way he moved on the field. So it's not, I'm okay with that. He checked a lot of boxes for me, and I think he's going to have a great opportunity moving forward.
Yeah, the scouts and the people at home got different views. It's nice to get the stories sometimes first, and that's how we have to do it. But, these guys they've been working their butt off all week. They're up early, they're in meetings, and I tell you what, I think they got more wore out from those meetings yesterday with those scouts and hearing all their stuff than they'll ever be on this field after rep after rep. As you even say, they're trying to wear these guys out, wear them down, see where their stamina is. And, you know, coming right out of the season, for some of these guys, they're ready to go. But other guys have been sitting for a little bit.
Yep.
Maybe their football got shut down. And so you're seeing how good they are at staying conditioned when they are not playing ball, which is a big deal, especially going in there. That's ingrained in you. You can get lazy just as well as anybody else at the NFL level.
There were some D linemen I thought were really gassed during some of the drills. You could tell they wore out a little bit as they got going, and that's something though that you want to then get. Okay, so I'm gonna if I'm an agent, if I'm a scout, I'm going to walk up to a guy when he's done and say, hey, man, I'm going to recommend something to you. You check certain boxes here, but look like what have you been doing? Since the season ended, what have you been doing? Now, to conversely, right? I mean, we had some guys that there was the Oklahoma State D tackle and the Indiana D tackle. Both those guys looked like they've been just grinding. I mean, they were just in phenomenal shape. And
we didn't get a chance to look at, get him up for interview yesterday, but there's a lot of buzz coming in about him. And we watched, seen his tape, and they had a lot of buzz. Indiana, made some moves, made some waves where they normally didn't do it in a tough conference, being in the Big Ten, which normally get kicked around.
Man, I'll tell you what,
it's like that.
Coach Allen has done a phenomenal job at Indiana. And they were just the kind of the talk of the Big Ten. And I thought some of these guys were really, really good.
So let's go just a little bit of the east of Indiana. We're gonna go to Western Kentucky. We've got Emily Van Buskirk with Trey Meadows.
He needs to work on his geography.
All right, Emily Van Buskirk back here with the Burrell Network. We're standing on the sideline. I'm here with Trey Meadows, Western Kentucky University. He told me to say WKU. I'll say that too. WKU. DB over here. CB just got done with the DB drills. How do you feel those drills went for you?
I feel like those drills went really well for me. And I had a few tweaks here and there, but overall, I feel like I had a good day.
All right. And which one of all the things that you did out there was your favorite? Which one do you think showcased your ability the best?
Having the ability to open my hips, staying square, and then attacking the ball, high pointing the ball.
Open hips is a thing that we hear all the time. How do you keep your hips open? Do you do like flexibility stuff? Do you get into the yoga? What's going on?
For sure. You always got to stay flexible. You got to stretch, do mobility work and stuff like that.
Did you do a lot of that, after the season ends? Obviously a short kind of season. Did you do that stuff going into it? Who were you training with? What were you doing?
Well, during the season, when I was at school, we always do something called X needs. So that's where you work on like your mobility, your flexibility and stuff like that. And then after the season was over with and I started my training, they real big on, you got to roll out, you got to stretch.
Yeah. The vibrating rollers.
Yeah. So it's always been a thing that I always had to do.
Okay. And what do you think of the coaches out here? They getting you guys coached up right? They getting you showing your best skills?
Yeah, for sure. Pretty good group of coaches out here. They work this hard and they just want to see us do our best.
That's awesome. And this College Gridiron Showcase has been so good for guys like you who want to get out there and get seen, especially with the season not having as many games and film as you want. What has this whole week experience been like? You get to do the interviews with the scouts, you get to do the testing, all those seminars. Do you have a favorite part of it and what you liked?
I guess my favorite part was when we did the financial side of it.
Oh, yeah.
So like, we all know the football side of it with the draft and everything. And then, we all want to buy mom a car, buy her house. Yep. And then when we actually got down and they was doing the numbers and seeing all the taxes that got to be taken out, all the fees you have to pay, and then what you actually left with, then it's like,
it goes quick.
Yeah, it's an eye opener. So like, I feel like that was the best part for me.
So you walk out of there feeling like, okay, I got a new perspective on what this next level could be.
Exactly.
All right. Well, best of luck to you. Looking forward to watching what you got. Back to you guys.
Hey, I want to touch back on that real quick, Mike, and on those D linemen. We're talking about, of course, about Cameron Murray at Oklahoma State. I thought he had a really nice day today. And then Jerome Johnson at Indiana. We're a Big Ten guy, both big schools, right? Big 10, Big 12. For those guys to be here, that's big, right? For those guys, both undersized D tackles. And I thought both of them in the drill work, and we weren't on air yet. When you watched them drop their weight very well, were really fluid in space. And then they did some realistically, really a conditioning drill at the end. And both of them were just pounding their feet, hammering on the goalpost. They both looked really, really good. And I thought that's a testament to them, knowing that they're going to be here, that they've been putting in work. Because especially for D linemen, man, it's easy to just sit and eat donuts and pound some Mountain Dews like I do. And these guys were really putting in a lot of work, and that was impressive. I like looking at that. Those are those little intangible things that as scouts are out here, they want it. They notice that, or at least I do. And so that's a big difference. So kudos to both those two guys for being in shape.
You notice when we talk about everybody's the same when you get here, that's one benefit of these bigger conferences, that they do have these conditions conditioning programs, and they pound it into you to stay in shape, keep your conditioning level up, where they just don't have those same opportunities at the smaller schools. We talked about Merrimack and these different ones, but then it becomes into the person themselves, which that's how these guys come out of nowhere and become shining stars, and they're all the way across the league. They're from nowhere university. You guys get Wayne State, places like this have produced, Hall of Fame guys, so it is a good opportunity. We got the offense is starting to filter on the field. Defense is starting to filter out. They're getting out here, a little bit of sprinkles starting to come down in Fort Worth. It's in the 40s. It's not the most comfortable, but this is football weather here.
Let's go. Let's play ball right now. I'm ready to strap it on right now. Let's get it. And it's, I know we're going to wrap this up and before we go, but there's some winners for today, guys. And when I say winners, they're all winners, right? Anybody showing up here and anybody competing, I give them all the kudos, props that they can get. But guys that I thought really stood out and did that playground scouting, right? If I'm doing that and I'm watching these guys and I'm just saying, okay, I don't know anything about them at all, but I just watched their numbers and I watched what they did out there today. I got some notes here. Marlon Character from Louisville, corner, 6'1". Just shy of 6'1", a 200-pound guy. I thought he was really smooth in his drills. I thought a guy that I didn't know a lot about coming in here. We didn't talk to him yesterday. Didn't do much. He really impressed me. I'm going to go back and watch some tape on Marlon Character Jr. I thought he stood out big time. Camilo Eifler. Okay, I put him on. We did watch him do a drill down here, linebacker, Illinois. I interviewed him yesterday. Really interviewed him, didn't know that much about him, just interviewed him because Hardy Nickerson and Lovie Smith are guys that I know. He was at Illinois, so I was like, this guy's got 34-inch arms. I'm going to talk to him. He gets on air, says he's going to run a 4.4, big time recruit out of California. And then I see him out here running around, and he gets down in his stance, and he's scratching the grass, scratching the turf, and he's not even just barely bending down. His arms are so long, he's tickling the,
he's gangly.
Tickling the top of the turf, and I'm like, and then he moved really well, and so that's a guy that I thought stood out. You talked about him, I talked about him. We teased him about having his Scully cap on. Derek Forrest.
I was about to bring him up. He's, that's me on the defensive side of the ball. He talked some game. We gave him a little crap, right? But Cincinnati guy too. So we've been giving the Cincinnati guys hell. But, to me, he's my manscaped defensive player out of the game. He talked some game. He went and backed it up on the field. He looked fluid. He looked strong. He looked confident. He looked like he's unconscious, well, maybe subconscious out there playing, right? Like this is just another day in the park for him. I love seeing that. This is a kid when we go back to, how the scouts talk and we talk about playground scouting. He's a kid that, back in the day, he was the kid that says that kid can go to the NFL when he was 4 or 5 years old. Now he's about to walk in there, and I think he gets drafted and gets a good shot here.
Yeah, I agree, man. And there's some other guys. We'll put these all out on Twitter, and we'll put them out through the Burrell Network. But we have some guys, Jerry Jacobs, Mustafa Johnson, Jerome Johnson. I talked about him. Cameron Kenley we had from Navy. A lot of some other guys that we'll jump on, but there was a lot of guys helped themselves out today. And that's, it was a quick workout. A lot of these guys were able to but in the things that they needed to do, showed that they were in shape, showed they were ready to play, competitive. It was a good day for the defense.
Yeah, my guy, I got to bring him back up. We talked about Mustafa Johnson. We were saying he was on tree trunks the other day. They looked like jackhammers today. The way that guy moved, he's so short and stocky, but just those things are pounding. We're actually going to go back over to Emily Van Busker. We got one last interview of the day. We were going to wrap, but we were able to grab Lamont Wade out of Penn State. So let's go over to Emily. Emily, you're up.
Hey guys, sorry, I'm distracted by some drills back here. Emily Van Busker with the Burrell Network. I'm here with Lamont Wade, Penn State safety. He just walked off the field doing some drills. How did that go for you?
It felt amazing. It felt amazing to get out here in front of, a bunch of scouts and kind of show what I got, show some intangibles that, maybe they couldn't have seen on the film. So it was really good to do that. See,
you guys say that, like the scouts are watching you. Does that ever get in your head? Like, or you just dial in over there and not even think about what's going on over here?
I feel like that's all a part of, being in the position we're in right now is realizing that, hey, it's maybe 100 scouts out there, but still blocking that out and realizing that you have, a point to prove. You have something you got to work on. It's something that you got to show. So
okay. What do you feel like you showed them? Which drill do you think really showcased your talent?
I feel like they really seen how fluid my hips was.
Okay.
I feel like I had good hip movement in a transition, and I caught the ball pretty natural. I kind of felt good being able to, go up and grab the ball and showing that I got that hip movement.
Everybody's talking about hip movement. That's the big thing. How do you keep your hips mobile?
See, so coming into school, that's the thing I had to realize. Okay. Stretching, and it's not things like difficult stretches, simple stretches every day, and just being consistent, knowing that you want to stay loose, you want to stay flexible. I feel like knowing that in your mind and just hitting it every day, being consistent with it is a way to get that done.
See, I got to get on that level. I got some yoga, maybe try a little stuff like that. But so you met with all these NFL, scouts and coaches. What do you feel you would bring personally to an NFL organization?
Yeah, I definitely feel like, my versatility is one of the biggest things. I've played everywhere in the back end, from field corner, boundary corner, free safety, strong safety, nickel cornerback, and dime linebacker. As far as, my passion for the game as well, too. You could kind of see that on film. And when you're at a game, you can watch it and see that I'm very passionate about the game. I'm excited about what I'm doing. I love being out on the field. And, just me being a genuine person as well. Yeah. Me having, that character that, guys kind of can melt into, and that those leadership things, being a captain at Penn State is a huge honor. So I feel like, those are, a couple things that I can bring to the table.
You talk about passion, and we were talking about Penn State, traditional program, so much history. What was it like playing for a school like that for your 4 years?
It was amazing, because I tell everybody that it was the true college experience. Like, when you see movies, football movies or whatever, it's like that's the place where you want to be at, and it's in the middle of nowhere. So all it is college. You're like in a city full of, 18, 19, 20-year-old, 21-year-old kids. So that, and just that passion from, the community and the fans, it kind of resonated with me, because like I said, that passion for the game, it was real good.
He told me I got to get out there and see it, because it gets rocking. I got to ask you, who's a player that you model your game after in the NFL? Who's someone that you look up to and watch their film and you're like, I could do that?
I feel like precisely Buda Baker and Tyrann Mathieu. I like with that versatility. I could play in the slot, I could play outside, I could play over top, I could do a few different things, and I feel like I'm very disruptive. I feel like I could get off blocks, I could fill the run lane, and I could cover. So just being able to do all those things, and I see those guys are able to do all those same things as well. So I feel like I could fit right into that mold of that.
All right. I like it. Well, we'll keep an eye on you. Good luck in it. Back to you, Bridge and Brez.
Ron. Hey, so coming back, there's a good, it's, another guy that always got a bright smile. He's one of these guys you got to pull for. Penn State, big school, big conference. Had some lackluster year this year and that, but these guys emerge, and you just got to
made that tough for everybody, right? I mean, it's hard to have a glorious year with what's going on, because a lot of these guys didn't even know when they were going to play. I mean, the Big Ten canceled their season, and then all of a sudden, so guys would go from training to not training to all of a sudden now you're playing live games. I mean, I don't care where you're at, Mike. I mean, that's a tough road to hoe. We talked to a lot of guys that meant something to them, and so that's why scouting this year is going to be more important than it ever been, because you just don't know.
And what an emotional roller coaster, and that's kind of what we got out of these guys. You just talking about it, and a lot of the people at home and stuff, hey, they care about their football, right? It's a big deal, and that means something. You say, oh, that's a bummer, it's going to get canceled. No, that can't happen. But think about the kids. I mean, you got to get mentally prepared, emotionally prepared for this game and going into the season. And then somebody says, hey, I don't know if we're going to go. And then you're like, okay, let me know. And then they say, hey, we're probably going to go. And you're like, oh, okay. And then they say, season's off.
Right.
And you don't even know what to do. And then you say, and then they got to a point where they say, well, we might get a few games going on. And you're just like, man, come on. I need to know what to do with my life, my body. I got this girlfriend over here. There's a lot going on.
Brady Breeze from Oregon talked about that. I mean, that's what, he's literally said. They told him, get ready to go. We're not playing. We're out of practice. We're not going to play. He goes home. A lot of guys left. And they call him up and say, hey, we're playing a game in 4 weeks, 3 weeks. You got to get prepared. And he's like, I wasn't ready. And that's one of the reasons he opted out. And so I think you're 100% right. And as fans, I give these guys a lot of credit too, because as fans and as football junkies like we are, we sat at home freaking out. Like, right? Like, what football are we going to watch? We're not going to have SEC. We weren't going to have the Big Ten. We weren't having the Pac-12. Division II canceled. FCS canceled. So then all of a sudden, now they're playing. Well, you know what? That helped my Saturdays. That got me through this year, man. Some of the stuff where you're stressing and you've got all these other issues, and you're like, you crank on the TV and you get to watch Lamont Wade run around at Penn State. And so, it's tough for those guys, but you got to give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. We're so quick to forget, and we just move on. I sit back and look and say, man, these guys overcame a ton to be able to bring us a lot of joy. And I'm gonna give them kudos, give them a lot of props. And it's been cool to be able to talk to these guys and get their stories and be able to find out what's going on with them. And you know what? I want all of them to make it. I know they all won't, but I want them all to make it, because I've been there, I've done it, I've been through this. And for them to come out here and compete in this rain and this weather, and to want to be the best and put their best foot forward. Maybe they're not in the best shape. Maybe you're not ready. You weren't ready. But hey, man, that's how life is, right? You don't know. Let's go. You got to wake up tomorrow.
You get up,
right? You
turn
wake
on
up
the
one
keys,
day.
right?
You wake up one day. Yeah, as Lonzo said, you wake up one day and you're a healthy, spry 40-year-old, and the next thing you know, you got a torn ACL, and you're trying to figure out if you're getting knee replaced or not, right? I mean, so you've been through it.
Life comes quick, man.
You had a heck of a 2020 yourself. So you give these guys kudos, and I'm excited to be here with the Brawl Network and help these guys. We're a little part of helping them live their dream. It's exciting for us, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to be watching the draft. I'm going to be watching free agency, and I'm going to be rooting for these guys. We just had the defense conclude. I'm going to be rooting for these guys and be like, I felt it. I saw that. I knew it. And, especially if some of these guys get drafted. I called it. I said it, and I'll put it on record.
I think
there'll be 10 to 15.
Feel it on them.
There'll be 10 to 15 guys out of this that will get drafted this year.
Yeah, and then, numerous more undrafted will go in, and that's what really fills in. We talk about the expanded rosters and the practice squad side, and a lot of guys are going to fill in there. So these undrafted free agents, some go to the practice squad. Some can get right on the rosters right out of camp.
Right.
And you're going to see that. Last year we talked right as COVID was going to hit, and we felt bad for undrafted free agents. We talked about this is going to shorten you up. This has been a great opportunity to have College Gridiron Showcase coming on, because they can help those undrafted free agents, and tons of stories. You think, we care about the first round guys, talk about the top 10 guys. We could sit here all day. The Hall of Fame ballots just came in. We could talk all day about undrafted free agents that end up in the Hall of Fame, right? So these guys, you know what? Who knows? There could be a walking Hall of Famer out on this field right now. A lot of guys that came in and it's just these moments that really make a difference.
Mysterious ways, bro. It'll be fun, and this has been a great, man. What a great camp and a great opportunity for not only the Brawl Network but for these guys. It's exciting.
Yeah, it's right. And like you said, if there's something we can do to get them out there, get some more film on them, great. But who can really help out there is the fans of football sitting at home, watching on live media. These people are out there retweeting, liking, sharing the posts, following their careers, going back and tracking stats and getting out of there. It creates a buzz. This buzz gets across the internet. Scouts are, they play on Twitter and they do the scrolling just about anybody.
just like us, man. I find out about a lot of guys on Twitter, dude. I'm not gonna lie to you. I really do.
Even the scouts there, you see them and they're just playing on their phone, checking their stuff and doing same as anybody else. Everybody's the same. So they see the buzz and they say, why does this guy keep coming across my social media feeds? So when you guys dig in on these guys at home and find them and find the guys, we'll bring some highlights to you guys. They're the ones we got. Follow along with them. Get over on the social media. Talk about them. It helps these guys' careers just doing what you're already doing, scrolling the damn feed, So it makes a big difference.
Well, and the other part about it is find fan favorites, right? I mean, some of these guys, if you've seen our interviews, I guarantee if you watch the interviews on the Brawl Network, if you find it on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, you're going to fall in love with some of these guys, okay? And I mean, I've got like 10 boys, right? Like I got new 10 friends that I'm just like, okay, I didn't know anything about this dude before I came in here, but listening to his story when we're doing an interview, I'm like, okay, I want that guy. I'm gonna root for that guy. Yeah. And so you know what? If he ends up being on your favorite team, if he ends up being on if you're the Bengals Brawl, your Eagles Brawl, or the Bears Brawl, or wherever he ends up going, I mean, those are guys that we're going to bring you a lot of highlights and a lot of visits, and we've made a lot of contacts. A lot of these guys are now fans and friends of the Brawl Network. They're going to let us know. So yeah, you can help it out, and sometimes get a. We're not saying you're going to make that big of a difference. You're not going to make the reason he's gets drafted in the 3rd round or 4th round, but it's good for a guy's ego. And it's good for a guy to know he's got people out there rooting for him, and that his hard work is getting acknowledged. And if you're a fan and you retweet something from a guy, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I took time and talked to Grant Hermans late at night last night before everybody wrapped up.
What a fun dude, right?
He's awesome. He's just one of the, and you know what? He's built to the hilt too. Yeah. I mean, he gave us a little bit of the flex, just normal red. And it's just, man, he just pops up, big wrestler guy, Purdue, and but great guy. And we talked for a while last night, and I told him about that little niche that nobody talks about in the offensive tackles that run under the 40. He didn't even think about it, and it wasn't. He was training a little bit, and I told him, like you said, hey, watch Lane Johnson's pop up. That little extra get up and go when you're a bigger guy can get you forward and get you moving. And then that opens the eyes up. And then, you know, being able to sit down and talk to these different guys. And we looked at Shannon Herring right now out of BYU, and he's going to make some moves.
Yes,
he's going to look good out here. He's going to look like he's, I don't know, 4 inches shorter and 50 pounds lighter because he's so agile. And I told Hermans, I was like, you get on his heels and make yourself look like him or better today, and you're going to get up there and you're going to have that shot. You know, these guys all the way around. He's from Arizona. He's our Breaking Bad guy, right? He's New Mexico. He was from back over there. He went to Purdue, and now you know, he's staying with this girlfriend. They have a 6-month-old baby. You can't make these. He lives, you know, he was my Manscaped guy from yesterday. He writes me down his address. I go, you live 5 minutes away from me. It's weird how these all come together. Right. So, you know, these guys are closer. They're not just guys.
Are you going to go over to his house and help him manscape? Is that what you're saying?
No. That's, we only power up by Manscaped one guy at a time, right? But you do that. You know, the CGS is brought to you by Manscaped. They've been helping us out and being a good supporter and sponsor of us, and all these guys out here. A lot of these players are going to go home with some Manscaped stuff. We're going to find a guy that really wins our hearts out of the offense today. But it's great products. You know, you know, you got to keep it fresh down there. You know,
everywhere, man. You can use it all over your body, dude. I trim it up. I use it for. I've had the lawnmower 3.0 for a long time. I'd use it for my head. I use it for the side of my face, for my neck. I mean, it's not just for. I mean, I know we talk about our undercarriage a lot, but I mean, it's good if you want to trim up. You know, going to the beach, want to trim up your chest, and maybe you got a hairy back or something like that.
Yeah, it's a one. You know, and it also works in the shower. That's the thing that I found the coolest about it. And you talked yesterday, well, you can get the walls and they can do different stuff. I've never found a trimmer that you can take in the shower and actually cuts good like that.
Well,
so that
made a big difference. It's got the light on it, so if you want to shave your back in the dark or something like that, right? You're out there camping and you don't want to look like one of the bears just in case you're trying to steal somebody's food at night. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to look like a bear. You just walk up on somebody's campsite. You can use it in the dark.
There's a lot of people not wanting to look like the bears right now, maybe up in Chicago, right?
Here's what I will say to you, too. And again, this is as an old man. I used to think I was really cool. And I used to think I was really hip. And then you get old, and then you start getting nose hairs, and you start getting ear hairs, and you start getting stuff you just, like you made fun of your dad about. They got a nose trimmer here, right? And all the other like little connections that you have.
Works.
Dude, it's like a huge, huge kudo to try to look and be better. Man, it's a little bit, it feels better, right? Like, you don't want to, like, if you're sitting somewhere and somebody's like, you know, they're sitting there going like this to you. Like you got a bug or something like that, but it's not. It's just that giant long nose hair you didn't know you had.
Oh,
you know what, man? You don't want to look like a toolbox. Clean yourself up. Get some Manscaped.com. Go to Manscaped.com. Get 20% off. Use the code BRAWL and to get free shipping. I'm telling you, that nose trimmer has been a lifesaver for me. I didn't want to ever admit that. Like dudes don't talk about this, right? We don't sit at bars or you don't sit at a restaurant and say, hey, bro, hey, you want to shave my back for me, or you want to, you
don't want to ask a lady when you're single and you're a bachelor who shaves your back.
Hey, what do you do? Hey, what do you do for your nose hair, right? Like you don't ask a dude that. Like, hey, what do you got any tips for how to get my nose hair?
The honesty is what you pull up in the car before you're about to go in. You do a check, and then you sit there and you try yanking those babies out of there. Right. So you know the best place for the nose hair, it's in the console.
Oh yes.
Right. That's where you get it. I know you get the flakes and everything around your shirt. You got to make sure you get those off. But those are the key, man. You got to get those on there. I'll tell you what.
It saves it, man. And then you got ball preserver just to keep them fresh and clean. And it's a great product. Manscaped's done a phenomenal job, not only for the Brawl Network, but for themselves. And you know, we're very, I think there's some synergy there because they're a hustling organization as the Brawl Network is a hustling organization. And so a lot of synergy there. And so,
you know, they started out a very famous episode of the Sharks, right? These guys get up there and they went on. Shark Tank. They pitched it. A lot of people know about it because of that, and they have done great. They just came out with their cologne line, and I tell you what, they told me about it. It was hype. They before they were going to announce it, and which is coming, you know, just launched. And I was like, here we go, you know, and then that is my new favorite cologne. I mean, it just smells good and it smells manly and it doesn't smell like, you know, you're spraying on perfume, which all these colognes got in a habit of. It brings back to me. And I'll tell you what, these ladies like that. They like, you know, they like a guy to be a man, but not be like, you know, having you pull them down and then a bunch of, you know, springers fall out of there. You know, you don't want any of that. So, I mean, that's what's the case. You know, you use that, you clean up, you got the ball deodorant, the ball toner. Hey, we're at 43 degrees. You can almost see our breath out here right now. But in, you know, not too long, we'll be going into the summertime. And this is a swampy field all of a sudden, right? And that's where it's nice to have that in your gym bag or, you know, even in the car so you can freshen up a little bit. Because how many times, Bridge, you go from practice, right? You don't have time to balance all the chicks, right? I mean, you got to go from practice, do a little scrub shower in the tub, and you're back out of it, right?
Yeah, you're hanging out, just washing in the sink real quick, and you got to roll real quick, right? And nobody likes that, dude. Nobody likes that, dude. But this saves you. This saves you a little bit.
It does. You know, thank you to Manscaped, everybody out there. Manscaped.com, 20% or more. I mean, the code just sometimes just whacks it down so much on there, and also free and fast shipping. That's the thing. If you want it, you don't have to wait weeks. I mean, it comes right out. Great stuff. Best cologne. And the underwear, I know you got some of those out there. The best fitting things ever that hold the boys without all of the tightness and coming in. And I tell you what, since my surgery and all that, you know, I started to get a little out on the front, and all of a sudden the pants got tighter. I packed up to come down here. I put on some nice pants, and then I couldn't even buckle the damn bastards, right? And I had to start wearing shorts instead of wearing underwear. I don't know if anybody's ever been there before, right? They start riding up in you, and these, man, they fit good. They're elastic, and they fit well. But hey, it's, you know, being a man sometimes, and I'm sure the ladies out there listening, they deal with this on their dude too,
so buy
right?
it for your dude, yeah.
I think probably sell more off to the ladies than they do the guys. Who knows?
Yep, coming up on Valentine's Day, it's good, be a great gift.
Yeah, we're gonna start seeing these guys filter in. Now they're getting on the field behind us, and we're starting to see some drills. And we're gonna get back into the offense. Now, we're gonna end up getting over to Michael Shoddy, who's gonna wrap us in here to some of these offensive guys and lead us into some of these drills on there on the field real quick. But who are a couple of guys, maybe just two or three guys from we talked to you the last couple of days that you're really looking forward to seeing what they're gonna do on the field?
Well, we talked about tight end from Iowa, Sean Barrett, right? I think that's going to be a big one. I think that's going to be a big one for me. And then, of course, as we get going here, I want to see Jake Funk and Corey Daffine, the running backs. See both coming off injuries. I want to see if they how they perform out here today.
All right, we're gonna do that. We're gonna bounce in. Michael Shoddy's gonna take over here in a minute from the field, and then we're gonna come right back to you. Thank you to everybody out there watching. Make sure you share, like, and retweet. We appreciate all the work you're doing to help these guys out there as well.